Hey, what up, fam? Welcome back. Marcus Davis here with another one. Today, I got something special for you guys. I thought we would step away from the technical stuff for a bit and I would just kind of share something cool with you. This studio I'm sitting in is my dream studio. Actually, it's a studio that I built for myself, and I've been spent my whole life doing music production, waiting for the opportunity to build my studio exactly the way that I wanted it around me and the way that I work. And I thought it'd be pretty cool, since you guys have been tuning in and seeing some of these episodes and you've been seeing all these flashing lights and screens and stuff here. I thought it'd be pretty cool to kind of walk you through my dream studio and what this gear is, why it's here, and why it matters to me, and how it affects the overall sound. So today, that's what we're going to do. A lot of this gear is built around my workflow, and so it's kind of a insight into how I think and thinking like a producer, and you'll understand more in a minute. But first, I'm just going to go and walk you through some of this stuff, and let me know what your thoughts are. And maybe some of you out there have some of the same gear and maybe using it differently, but this is how I do what I do. So pretty much I have here, this is my monitor station. It's a PreSonus monitor station. So it pretty much is my way I monitor everything from the headphones. So it's got 4 headphone inputs. It's got 2 speakers that are plugged up to it now. I could plug up another set of speakers, but I don't have them plugged up right now. But what's really cool about this monitor station and why it's here is because it has a talkback built into it. So I can hit the talkback button and I'm able to speak to the person inside the booth. So that comes in handy quite a bit. I'm also able to hit the dimmer switch when I want to quickly dim the speakers. It reduces the volume instantly. I also have a mute to mute the speakers. I also have a mono button to put things in mono instead of stereo. And then I have a volume control. So this is kind of like the center of the console, where I'm able to just monitor everything and control what people are hearing in the room. So I had it built into the desk because it's everything that I need. And I have it sitting here because it's easy for me to just reach over and turn down the volume, or reach over and hit the talkback button and talk to the person in the booth. Comes in handy, great little tool, not very expensive. It's made by PreSonus and it's called a monitor station. Everybody should have a good pair of headphones. These are mine. I can't even really pronounce them. They're like a German name, but they're incredible. So those are kind of cool. And I have 2 Raven MTI monitors, which really they're called Slate Ravens, and they're touch screen, so they're touch sensitive. So I can touch the faders. I can open up different kinds of effects. All the effects are also touchable. Really cool. I can put them away. There's all kinds of commands. I can hit play by just tapping 2 fingers to start playing. I can stop by tapping 2 fingers. And really, this is a really cool touch surface, kind of futuristic approach to studio production and studio setup. But the reason why I got them was 2 reasons. Number one, I live in the Philippines and there's not a whole lot of access to outboard gear. So I wanted to have a studio that felt like a studio, but was more on the digital realm, and also kind of gave me the feel of outboard gear. And in a lot of ways, this does, because I can open up the plugins and adjust them using my hands, and I'm spending less time on a mouse. So that's kind of cool. But the other reason that they are here is because of this patch bay down here. This patch bay is amazing because what it allows me to do is it allows me to set up all of my shortcuts and all of my workflow the way that I like to work. So all of these are different buttons that I have preset and that I can load at the beginning of every session to load exactly the way that I want. So all of my shortcuts, any little processes that I really want to quickly have access to, like bounce out a file. Like I can highlight this file and hit bounce, and it'll bring up the screen for me to bounce it really quick, rather than having a whole bunch of shortcuts. I can time stretch stuff really quickly. So it's really nice for moving quickly and efficiently And which moves me to my next thing. My production station is over here where I've got just a MIDI controller, a keyboard, a digital keyboard that's plugged up into my sound card, and a drum machine. Now, what's cool is I can be over here playing, and while I'm playing, it's really easy for me to control the logic. So I can, because I just to start play, I can just stay grounded in the moment till the time's all up. 2-finger tap. If I recorded something that I didn't like, a 3-finger tap will undo. And to stop, 2-finger tap. My record is right here. So it's ergonomically set up for the way that I like to work. My approach to music production is all about efficiency. So for me, anything that I can do to be efficient and get the technology out of the way, it's nice to have it all here, but at the end of the day, I have deadlines, so I like to get in here and go right away. I don't want to be fumbling through cables. I don't want to be plugging up a whole bunch of stuff or anything like that. I want to be able to just kind of get in, be inspired, open up a clean slate, have all my presets there, have all my sounds easily brought up. And that's another thing. I can easily access all of my sound libraries, and that keeps things simple. If I'm looking for the sound library in Logic, here it is here. And I can just kind of from here with my left hand be able to kind of navigate through while I'm playing the sound and seeing if it's what I like. I can also create a new track really easily. I have a new track button. Let's do a stereo track real quick, or a instrument track. And then I can go contact. Let's grab contact, stereo. It'll load my contact library. And then in my library, I can select an instrument. Let's select this for now. It'll load my woodwinds, and I can play them here, and I can make adjustments with my left hand. And then when I'm done, I can put it away with a 5-finger swipe. So that kind of efficiency and fluidity is really helpful when you're doing a lot of music all day. So that's the reason why I have these two Slate Ravens. My mix control is all over here. I'm able to kind of look at my mixer, and there's also buttons that are specific to the mixer. For instance, let's say I'm on this channel here and I want to copy all these plugins to the channel next to it. I can just hit the copy plugin button and it'll copy everything to the channel next to it. So it's really fast, really fluid, and really helpful when I'm kind of navigating through all of this. Absolutely love these. Again, I do a whole lot less touching the screen, and a whole lot more working with these button panels down here. But I'm not usually playing with all the faders and all that stuff. I don't do a lot of that because it kind of slows me down. Some of it's faster with the mouse, but definitely when it comes to pushing buttons or 2-finger tap to play, 2-finger tap to stop, 3-finger tap to undo, I'm definitely using it. So one of my other favorite toys is the TR-8S. That's the new model of the old TR-8, which the only difference is it's got some more sounds, and it's TR-8S, which means it allows you to import samples. That's really, really cool for me because I like to, build my own sample libraries. I like to go on to Splice and find new sounds, and then I can take those sounds, put them on an SD card, and load them into my trusty drum machine. I don't do a lot of programming in the drum machine. A bulk of the programming that I do is in Logic. It's just quicker and easier. But one of the things I love about working with a drum machine styled like that is you could come up with some real sophisticated loops really fast. So I've got it plugged into my sound card, which is a Scarlett 18i20, which basically has 18 ins and 20 outs. And it's a big Scarlett Focusrite sound card that allows me to plug all this stuff up and have all this stuff ready to go when I need it. But anyways, the TR-8 is plugged into my sound card just as an instrument, like a stereo track in, and I can just sync the tempo to whatever tempo I'm working here. And if I feel like I need like a cool little hi-hat pattern or something, I can do a really cool hi-hat pattern there, or a really cool snare pattern or whatever there really quickly, and then just record it right in. And as we kind of evolve in working on the production series that we'll be working on, you'll see me using that more. and you'll see how I use it and why I use it and kind of when I use it. But yeah, this is a great toy to have to just kind of like get some inspiration, and kind of play with knobs and then kind of see what you get and then fly it in when you get what you like. So yeah, and then I have my MS Korg 20, which was an actual gift from my mentor, someone who taught me production many years ago. Was a guy named Kashif. He also discovered Whitney Houston and Kenny G. And I was fortunate enough before he passed away to spend some time with him working on records. And in particular, I was helping him with his album. And he needed some vocoder stuff done on his album. And so he sent me home with this keyboard that actually has a built-in vocoder on it and said, learn how to use it. Let's record some vocoder stuff on my record when you come back. And so I learned how to use it, fell in love with the keyboard. And as a gift to me for helping him with his album, he gave me that keyboard. And I've just kind of kept it with me throughout my whole career. And I've had it now maybe 16, 17 years. And it still works great. And it does vocoder stuff. It does great bass stuff. It does cool ambient stuff. And I mean, I'm a real fan of keyboards with a lot of knobs. I like to kind of get out of the software world every once in a while and just start playing with knobs. And sometimes playing with knobs just kind of helps you come up with inspiration, something new, something that you wouldn't have come up with by just, selecting a preset in Native Instruments. So I like to just kind of move stuff around. And then sometimes I'll record it in, and while I'm recording it, I'll just move the knobs and create all kinds of wonderful textures and tones that I use as ambient layers. So it's really great as kind of like that finishing touch when the bulk of the track has come together. I'm about 90% there. I've got vocals in the software, and now I just need cool little weird sounds in the background. I'll turn that on and I'll start doodling, and I'll come up with all kinds of cool things. So this is the bulk of my studio. Last but not least, I have a sound card here. I'm sorry, not a sound card. I have a preamp here. This is the Focusrite ISA1. It's plugged up to the mic that's in the booth, the U87, the Neumann U87. The great thing about this preamp, which is what my mic is plugged up to, is that I can turn it up really, really loud and I don't get a hiss sound. The noise floor is really, really low. So when I'm working with acoustic guitars, they can be relatively far from the mic and I can still get a nice full-bodied sound without a whole lot of hiss. Same thing with vocalists and percussive instruments, things like that. So a nice preamp comes in handy. It's also built into my desk, and it's on my right-hand side because a lot of times when I'm working with the vocalist, which is over here in the booth, I'm able to kind of ride the volume control while they're singing, which is just a great way to be able to work and make sure that they're not clipping or anything like that. And on my left-hand side, I'm able to talk to them using the talkback here on the PreSonus. So when I'm working in a session, I got my vocalist here, got my monitor control here, and I've got my preamp here, which is controlling the volume that's going inside of Logic for the mic. And so I'm able to control the whole studio quite comfortably without leaving the center of the speakers, which is how I wanted it. When I designed this, I wanted it to be very free-flowing. And I also wanted it to be a studio that I could quickly teach anyone how to operate. It doesn't take long to show someone how to operate the speakers and the talkback or the volume control for the microphone. And all of this can be customized to the way that people like to work. So all of these buttons can be programmed to have the shortcuts that you like and that you use regularly. And you can save that as a template. That way you can quickly come into my studio. Anyone can quickly come into my studio and be able to operate Logic, be able to operate the monitor system and the mic system very easily without a huge learning curve. And so that's kind of my studio in a nutshell. I know that's a whole lot to take in, but I just wanted to take that time to share with you because it really is a pride and joy of mine that I've spent a lifetime building and a lifetime working towards. And to be honest, none of it is necessary. You don't need a super expensive mic or a super expensive preamp. You don't need a Raven touchscreen monitor. A laptop works just fine. A simple sound card works just fine, and a decent microphone works just fine. Decent speakers work just fine. I spent most of my career working in a bedroom with those tools, and but I have these tools now because the function that they serve more than anything else is it's an inspiring space for me to come in and be creative, and I think that does add to the quality of the end product. If you're able to be in a space that provides a level of inspiration for you, where you look forward to it, you miss it, and the energy in the room is just right. You come in and you're like, all right, I can close the door for the next 10 hours and forget to eat and just work. And really, this is a space where I'm able to do that. And so that's what these tools serve for me more than anything else. But don't be fooled by the fancy tools. You can get the job done at the highest level possible with very minimal tools. All of this is just icing on the cake, and it really just is my hobby and my dream, and I'm glad to be sharing it with you. So until next time, we'll be diving into music production. We'll look at some of my sessions, and we'll break down the thought process of the producer. And if there's anything you want to know about anything that you see here, feel free to ask and leave it in the comments. Thank you so much. See you soon.